podcast. But before we officially start, it always takes Instagram about 40-ish seconds to catch up. So I'll be just filling these 40 seconds with nonsense
Love
until
that
I
for
see
us.
the check. We're live here too. And this is the do I see it? Do I see it? There we go.
Woo,
Now
we
we're
made it.
also live on the gram. Hello,
Nice,
hello,
nice.
hello, everyone. Rich and Hydrated Podcast here with my look. I always tell her she's like real life permanently photoshopped because she's so beautiful.
Oh, you are so.
Jennifer,
Oh, hello. How are
I
you?
love when you're just on my timeline. I'm not even
Oh.
reading your post. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just so happy to see your pictures.
Honestly, you're one of those people when you say it, I know you actually mean it.
Oh,
Like you
yeah.
just like, yes, yes, I dig
How
it.
are you, babe?
You know what? I'm living. I'm
You
living. I'm
living,
here.
living.
I'm alive. I'm not doing it like other people. Life is good. Life is
Life
good.
is good. Life is good.
Hmm. Yeah.
This was a totally unplanned episode.
Literally less
Because
than 24 hours.
yes, because I was
Yeah.
yesterday all like, let me see. Yes, yes, yes. My farm arm personal assistant just had to quickly check something. So
Yes.
I posted something. I'm so annoyed with a lot of terminology that's being used online. And
Yep.
Jennifer jumped in my DM. She's like, "Oh my God, yes." I'm like, "Yo, let's just have a conversation about this."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and we're gonna talk about like even the fact we started off before we went online, marriage doesn't mean anything. Everyone has figured out karma. Everyone. They're like, oh, this is how karma works.
Yeah.
Embodiment means nothing anymore. Nothing means
Yeah.
anything anymore.
Yeah, yeah, you can't trust it. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody knows everything and nobody's really living it. So that's kind of cute.
Everybody knows everything.
But
Everyone's an expert
2%,
on
yeah.
whatever political thing is happening right
Oh my
now. They
goodness,
have
yes.
never heard of the country, can't point it out for the life of them, but all of a sudden, they are deep into the economics of said country, whichever one it
Yes.
is.
Yes. Yep.
And
Pick your topic and just talk. That's where we're at now. That's where we're
every
at.
and you made the great phrase saying everyone has a voice now.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm
everybody
just like,
wants to be seen. Everybody wants a voice. Everybody thinks they've got something to offer. And while that is true to some extent, a lot of times what you are here to offer, you're not actually offering. You're just looking at somebody else's shiny object and going, I could do that. And the truth is, the more I get into life and the more I serve people, I realize that not everybody is designed for everything. And if you really just understood that one fundamental alone, your life would be a lot more fun. It would be a
so much
lot more,
fun.
so much more fun.
So good.
So good. Yeah, a lot less work. You wouldn't have to get into half the things that people are really telling you you have to do before you can live, before you can before you can make money, before you can have the man. But like, are we done yet? Are we done?
And I love that it started, I don't know where, but somehow started off with like this getting into a disruptive era, right? Like the old rules don't apply anymore. Here you have
Yeah.
more rules.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Not
Well, and
feminine
I
enough,
call it,
too masculine.
but I see an interesting intersect happening where people are starting to see through that a little bit and remembering that
Yeah.
there's like a core essence of who
Mhm,
you are. And
mhm.
that once you realize you've kind of been dancing around yourself, and then you're like, wait a minute. First, it was Rat Race 1.0, where it was like, go to school, get a job, get married, have a house, have kids. Now it's Rat Race 3.0, which is like, be spiritual, make sure you're feminine. Like, but how much of that is really
It's
you?
just
And do,
recycled.
yeah, yeah, different box,
Just
different box.
different label. Here you go.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
I feel like we're in a split right now. So, and
yes,
obviously COVID expedited a lot, but so you had like
sure,
a lot of offline people living, then there was a huge movement going online. COVID obviously not only amplified but expedited that. And
yes,
now there's a comeback where people are like, well, that online is not it anymore. Or you're doubling down on chronically online living,
yes.
or you're
Hmm.
coming back to like, oh, offline is where it happens. You grab whatever you can to learn online and apply it in real life.
Yeah,
But I feel like the gap between
there's
these two is so big.
it's big and there's a disconnect.
Yes.
There's a disconnect between people who who know where they're intrinsically moved, but then take those pieces and put them into motion.
Yeah.
And then there's the people who want to live in this fantasized reality that's just full of distraction and more options than you can think of, and that's causing confusion and chaos and emotional turmoil. And now people are creating methods to handle the turmoil, when more often than not, and I know you will speak to this as well, it's that you're just not doing the thing, whatever that is for you. It could be a tough conversation. It could be asking for a raise at your job. It could be getting into fitness and getting your ass up off the couch. It could be so many things. But now we're at the point where I call it on some of my posts on Facebook, we're now living in a coddle bubble. Like, you're just coddling feelings.
Well, we're it's like talking to infants.
Yes.
Ha do
Hmm.
I know you don't watch a lot of TV, but do you know the show The Madison? It's new from, Taylor
No,
Sheridan. And
no.
at one point, without any spoilers, city folks husband has a cabin in the woods in like Montana. He passes away, so the family goes because that's where he passed away. So they
Sure.
go to memorial, funeral, everything there. And the city and like one of the cowboys comes in, and he's like, this is Indian food, and the city girls from New York go, "Oh my God, that's racist!" And he's like, "Well, that's what the Indians here themselves call it." So okay. So grandma corrects them like, "Hey, if someone comes here to help you, it's not
Yeah,
your place. It's not your place to correct them at all because you're fucking
sure.
7 years old, right?"
Sure. Yeah.
And they go like, "Yeah, but someone needs to correct him," like the most city mindset, right? And she
Yeah.
goes, "What a great place it must be, and to always be right."
Ah, mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's
Mm-hmm.
what we're seeing
Well, it's
online.
everything is supporting your bias and everything is supporting what you want. And it's so me-centric that it doesn't actually make room for how it extends into your own physical space, but then how it actually touches people. And actually, when you talk about the split, I actually see people getting kind of bored or not even really interested in anything that's not embodied, like where it's
And you
you're
can
actually.
tell. You can
Yes.
tell. Like,
Hmm.
especially again, just using the COVID era in the online space, you just had to like fart, and everyone was like, I'll listen to you. Because the
Right.
people who were brave enough to speak, that was the skill, right? That was the shiny thing. Now
Yes.
we're back like, oh yeah, it's all cute and all, but do you actually live what you're saying, or is it just ChatGPT made up, some fun phrases that sound
Yes.
very interesting?
Yes. Yeah.
And we're
Well,
coming
and
back to full embodiment.
which is kind of cool. I mean, I think that that's an interesting place to be in if you catch it. You know,
Yeah,
there's
that
a
is.
lot of people like stuck in the turmoil and the chaos of things. And then there's the realization when you talked about the split between people glorifying digital aspects and missing out the real component. And then there's this this weird in between that I saw where everybody's like, authentic is the way to go. You have to be authentic. And still, everybody is highly curating their feeds for what they want you to see, what they're selling you. You're not actually seeing anybody's whole picture. You cannot. And so I think we're going to see a real shift from people needing to even speak and rather expressing and just being. Like, what is it like? I love watching your videos because it's you on the ranch, it's you with the horses, it's you doing like, most people are
I'm
not actually
cranky and wet
living.
from the rain today, baby.
Exactly,
This is what I have
exactly.
to say.
Exactly. So that is like kind of the nuance in the shift that I'm seeing, and I think that people are looking for that connection because it really doesn't exist, and it's kind of boring. Like, everything is just masking a symptom or trying to make a symptom better and just taking people away from their lives. And to be honest, I'm really tired of the whole guru. Like, everybody's got to. It, sometimes I
Yep.
have no words. Like, I have no
No,
words.
it's so real. And gurus are specifically actually a great example because it's puts the emphasis of life outside of you.
Yes.
Like it's the
Hmm.
authority, and it becomes extra weird when it's people who don't live your life nor the dream life, right? So we have
Right.
a lot of like, Eastern world gurus. What do they know about living in fucking New York or
Right.
Dallas or
Hmm.
LA?
Hmm.
Your concepts, while they might apply to some truth of life, different world, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And now everyone has their own truth.
Yes. But okay, here's the thing. Here's where the delusion lies is when you have your own space, that's perfectly fine. I think when you know yourself, there's an authority you hold because you're not really trying to be anything else. But for people who are just discovering themselves and they're teaching things, um, it's still limited because it's your lived experience, which means it can't actually be correct fully for another human being. And I think where I see people getting stuck is, what life are you here to live? That's something I never really struggled with. I know that you're probably like you had a very strong vision from a very young age,
Yep.
but I'm realizing more and more that people would much rather go through the methodical timeline of somebody else's lived success than to discover what that means for them. But the problem is, if it was working, this is the key piece that I say to so many people,
Mhm.
that you have all of these offers in the world, all of these potential timelines and lifestyles and whatever. If what people were tangibly selling you based on their own lived experience actually worked, don't you think we would see more of the example? Don't you think we would see more people in great relationships, more people, defining what life looks like for them or living in harmony and not having to constantly heal or work on their emotions or regulate their nervous system to
Talk
death?
about
Like,
that. The constantly healing and the
mm,
and the regulating your nervous system as a goal. People, y'all, regulating your nervous system is a byproduct of a certain way of living. It's not the goal.
well, and here's the thing. Why did people's nervous systems start regulating? Because they started aligning their life appropriately to what they should be doing.
Mm,
But they think it's the exercise that they're doing. No, no, it is not. Because chaos, when you're coming out of something you're traditionally comfortable in, whether it be something good for you or bad for you, is going to come with discomfort. That's part of the process. So, like, I remember when I was losing weight, I know you can speak to this too. It was tremendously uncomfortable in the beginning because I had no idea what I was doing, and I was tired, and I was irritable, and I wanted to eat candy, and I wanted to do, but
yeah,
every day that I took another step, then it was fine. And now it's in like 20 years later, it's a way of life. So that isn't hard
word.
for me.
Yeah.
So
Well, and
so
on
like,
go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, and on top of that, I speak a lot about this in my membership. Is that the discomfort you and I speak of right now? It's not even real discomfort. It's just the absence of in direct reward. That's it. That's
Right.
the discomfort. And I'm like, I have my students always like check. Okay, okay, you say you're just uncomfortable right now. What are you actually feeling? And they're like, well, I don't have sensations in my body that are uncomfortable, right? Okay, so what is it? Well, I just really want my reward, my cookie, my whatever,
Yeah.
my glittery thing,
Mhm.
right? We're at
Mhm.
a point right now where our discomfort is just the absence of reward.
Well, and sometimes it's also your definition of the discomfort.
100%. 100%. And look, I come from a chaotic upbringing, right?
Same.
When the world goes to shit, I'm like, this is nice.
Yes,
This is
yes, this is, yeah,
nice.
your bandwidth is
I'm like,
like,
yeah, this is like
yeah.
this is home, right? I know
Yes.
this,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
for you could probably speak to this even more for
Mhm.
someone I've had a lot of like unhealthy, borderline
Experiences.
criminal relationships, and when you
Yeah.
then get on the journey of healthy ones, it becomes boring. You're like, what is this boring nonsense? Is there something bad around the corner? Do I am and you start creating it, right? The
You start
discomfort,
creating chaos.
nothing is
Yes.
going on. That's the discomfort because your normal bandwidth, temperature of life,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it.
Yes. Yeah,
Hmm.
well, I think that what I'm seeing is that a lot of what's being offered is stopping that process. And so when clients come to me, it's always this catastrophic thing. And when you paint the whole picture of what's actually happening, you'd be like, okay, so now you're responsible for this next step. Can you take it?
Yeah.
And then they take it and they're like, oh my God, that was so easy. And then so many other pieces fall into place, but we're interrupting the process of lived life. Exposure therapy is never talked about because the exposure is, what do you do? How do you respond? And how do you move in your day to day experience? Not in trying to regulate so that you can, or regulate yourself to the point of inaction, or to need to be stable. Because I don't know about you, but there have been times in my life where shit was hitting that fan. And I
What?
still make shit happen.
Well, probably even more than I care to like I'm
Admit,
probably
yes,
even more
yes,
successful
yes.
than I care to be in like
Sure,
bad
sure,
times. And
sure.
but and this idea, even with that regulation nervous system and talk, is that it operates from this notion. This is okay. Now we're going in.
Now
It
we're going.
operates
Let it
from
drop.
recycled Christianity and purity, where a
Mhm.
regulated nervous system is clean, right? That's what we're going for. We constantly want
Yep.
to clean and purify our nervous system. That's not what a nervous system does. It's supposed to be stretched back, stretched back. You're not supposed to be almost like neutral. You're supposed to be really fucking excited, which is unregulated, right? It's dysregulated. You're supposed
Yes.
to be angry,
Yes.
and then you come back. That's like it's
Yes.
like a band. Not this
Yes.
again. It's not this purity contrast. Oh, look at me being the most regulated. Oh, hey Christianity. And by the way,
Yes.
Jesus is my homeboy. Y'all know this
Yeah.
shit. We're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
talking about that.
The religion, the spirit of religion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The construct of it. So the interesting thing, and the I've been observing in the last like year, is that when you talked about that split, there's a bunch of people who maybe veered off their natural existence. So, like, I actually view this is something that people don't often get. It's a little bit more of a different concept, but humans are just like any other organization or organism on the planet. It's just we have this brain that does a bunch of different things. The problem is after a certain age, you flip from being very certain, very trusting, very okay in your movements, which means like the full expression of your range, angry, sad, mad, excited, anxious, all those things, and you start trying to feel good all the time. And then every aspect that is being put into the world right now is so that you can play God and control your own environment. But really, you're controlling shit, by the way. You're not actually doing anything because, back to your karma discussion, you don't actually know. I don't care how advanced you are spiritually, how much you can see into the ether, how many spirit guides you have. I don't give a shit. I've seen so many of you so confused, wandering in the dark, not knowing who the fuck you are, where you are, that if you just put the reins down for 5.6 seconds and let yourself be in the room, you can't
Yes.
you can't skip out on being a person.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
can't. You can't bypass that part. You're real. We're here. So
Well,
yeah.
and all of that. Oh my God, I had to. By the way, I got a message from one of the followers saying that my mic is too loud. So I don't know how that translates to you.
Oh no, I hear you
Okay, so
normally.
it's
Hmm.
probably then a connection on the Instagram between my mic and
Hmm.
this. All of these tools that are being kind of like shiny objects, like marketed. By the way, I blame Telcel commercials. If you put this little machine on your apps for only 10 minutes a day, you'll have apps guaranteed. Buy one, get
Yeah.
one free, right? Like this, that's where I feel like it started. But
Yeah.
all of it is constantly marketed at removing you from having being a human, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
this
It's
constant this
distracting you from your life. So
yes.
when I talk about like hijacking the system or hijacking your life, I just want to ask people who are watching, if you're in this space where you're constantly developing, constantly healing, constantly looking for the next thing, always trying to get somewhere, tell me where the joy is in your life. Tell me where
So
the joy
heavy,
is.
so
Mhm.
serious.
Are you I mean, you can have pockets where things are absolute crap, but can you even own that? So like where's the joy and where is the actual result? I'm not satisfied with 5% of people
No.
experiencing the life that everybody's selling. I'm
No.
not satisfied with that. And more so on another level, I don't think everybody is designed to do the same thing. So
Word.
while it's nice, everybody wants to be a wife. Most people don't know how to be a wife. Sorry. Most people want to make millions of dollars. Are you prepared for what you have to do that? Are you prepared for the ups and the downs and the losses and the gains all the way? Are you prepared to be seen and hated and loved? I don't know, probably not.
You
So
like
like,
you love the reward, but do you
yes,
love what it takes?
yes, the grit.
Oh
Hmm.
my God. And this is oh my repeat where we got again. The thought the one the I had just such a great response to I don't even know. Well, it'll come back.
Yeah, yeah.
Um this is where I want like be experiencing true I think joy, like actual joy is like the ultimate god line.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Um, and so we're not talking dopamine.
No.
Because right, I could do a fucking line of blow right now, and I'll get a bunch of
Yeah, you'll
dopamine.
feel good.
That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
what we're talking
No,
about.
no.
Like, talk this pure life joy where you're like, holy shit. If you're lucky in that moment, you get like a compounded awareness where you're aware that how blissful and joyful that moment is, and you catch
Yes.
it, and you're like, oh my
Yes.
god, I'm alive to
It's happening.
experience
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
happening.
god, it's happening.
Yes,
And then you
it's
lose it,
happening.
which is what's
Yeah,
supposed to be.
yeah. Next moment, next moment, next
Yeah.
moment. Mhm.
It
Yeah.
it's
I love the
it's
pause there. That was just like a, "Oh, let it
yeah, it's
simmer.
like 'cause
Let it in."
it and I have gotten lost in the past when it comes to gratitude because like people know me
Mm,
for my like gratitude cries. I have zero problem
mm.
crying online. I'm like, yo, I live in America. I have the fucking love of my life,
Yeah,
and but I feel like gratitude first got marketed as this Instagram, very bubbly,
yeah,
joyful. It's like this list, tick, 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 tick.
yeah.
But real gratitude fucking breaks your heart. Like it literally breaks it open. And I can feel it always in my chest where I'm like, can my body hold this? Like, could I
Yes,
actually get a heart attack because I'm too
yes.
grateful right now? Is that what's
Mhm.
going to happen? And it's
Yeah.
rarely this high energy. It's very,
It's
it,
grounded.
yeah.
It's like, I refer to it as, like, feels like burning embers where you couldn't even
Ooh,
throw enough water on it because it's like, it just gestates and you can't help yourself. Like, you get up in the morning, you're like, "Oh," even when it's not great, like,
oh,
and I think
100%.
it
100%.
doesn't have to be just when things are going well that you literally wake up and you're like, "God," like, even from where you're standing, there's so many things, but it became a gimmick. And all of these things have become gimmicks because they're being used to get somewhere. Like, if you're not truly grateful, you think you can lie to yourself? Like, you think you can, like,
You think
just
you can
don't.
gaslight the universe with your little tiny monkey
Literally.
mind? Oh, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say these like happy things and the universe will believe me. Okay, boo.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not how energy and frequency works.
No. Yeah, you can't cheat the system, that's the whole thing. But I think people are so focused on the outward, and again, I see a lot of models that have popped up, like somebody's a messaging person, somebody's a belief work person, identity, blah, 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 but when you strip it all away, there are things that you are inherently you just are without any effort. So when I started to make that intersect for myself, I realized that a lot of who I was, I diminished because it wasn't popular, because it wasn't how everybody lived. But that was my superpower. And because I put a little cap on it, it only allowed like little inflection. But as I started to take the cap off, I'm like, wait, there's an effortlessness to that. It doesn't mean I get to sit back and do nothing or I get to like
Very
do what,
much not so.
but it means that like who I am actually carries the magic and nobody can actually like there will be guides in my life and people that come in where they say things just at the right time. And I'm like, oh, that's so good. But
But
I
you
know
catch
that
it. You
you
catch it.
catch it.
Like, oh, I saw that twinkle. Thank
You
you, universe.
you
Thank you,
catch
God.
it. That's the difference. You catch the moment. You're not like seeking to be something else in that moment. And this is why I hate the majority of what's existing because it's taking you out of the very essence of where you are to make the change in the first place. So when I started to realize the intersect between the innocence of like your actual design, and that comes back to me to where not everybody's designed to do the same thing. But of course, the world would sell you that because it keeps you really busy. You must really like working hard. You must really like pain. You must really like thinking you have to be somewhere. So if you waste all your time on that, then you will never do the things you're meant to do. So congratulations, Rat Race 2.0. You have entered. You are thriving. Congratulations.
Word.
You're already pre-recorded the fullest version of yourself. And I equate that to like the innocence where
I
as
love
a
that.
child, you don't really think about consequences. You don't think about circumstances. And to be fair, there's a lot of protection you have if you were raised in a nice family.
Sure.
I didn't really have that. I know
Must,
you didn't
must be
either.
nice.
Yeah, it must be nice. But this is also why I didn't struggle with who I was. So
Word.
it was a blessing because
Yeah,
if I had
absolutely.
to, I didn't have the people telling me who I had to be. So I was like, I don't want to be that. I want to be that.
Like, you
So
have to be this. You look miserable. Why the
yeah,
fuck would I listen to you?
I mean, I have a story about that with my mother because I grew up in a family who had a lot of personal illness, like a
Mhm.
lot of like really detrimental illness, and they were things around the heart. So like breast cancer, diabetes, so like a lot of inner hatred, um, like lots of things. And I remember
Mhm.
I was a kid, and my mother said, she sat me down. She said, I just want to let you know that these things run in the family, thyroidism, breast cancer, blah, blah, blah. And I remember as a kid just kind of looking at her and I was like, well, maybe that's how your life was, but that sounds terrible.
No,
Why would I
why
want
are you
that?
marketing it to me? Like, it's a religion, not
Right,
but like religion of marketing the misery that has happened over and over and then adapting it as like, "Oh, this is my fate."
right.
And one thing that really stood out to me, what you just said right now, like, it must like, we you and I have dark humor a little bit, which I love.
Yes,
Like,
love
must
that,
be
love
nice
it.
to
Yeah.
have, like, a nice
It must be
childhood.
nice. Mhm, yeah, that's cute.
And yes, it made us
Yeah.
who it made us. And I often still get, like, pushback on that by people, right? Like, how
Mm,
can you be grateful, um, that it happened? Well, for one, I'm not grateful that it happened, I'm grateful who I became because of it, right? Because if I'm grateful for what had happened, then I turn, the bad people into the chariot of God. We're not doing
no,
that, right?
no,
So,
no.
we're not doing that. And, oh my god, I'm gonna cry probably.
It's okay.
There's gonna be a moment when I am on my deathbed and I am going to want to relive even that bad moment
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
means I get more moments.
Yes. Hmm.
So whenever life is really hard right now, and my heart right now looks significantly different than 20 years ago, thank the Lords,
Thank the
right?
Lord. Yeah. Hmm.
But whenever life is hard, I'm like, shit, I get to do this hard because one day when I'm next to grandfather death, he's bringing me to whatever the next station is. I'm going to look outside of the car window that he's driving me in, and I'm going to be like, can I go back even to that hard moment, please, please, please?
Yeah.
I'll do
Yeah.
anything, please,
Yes.
even to
Hmm.
that hardest moment. Please take me back,
Yes.
and that's the gift of fucking life.
Right. So I use a similar analogy because people are heavily distracted, and you might think you're the most advanced person on the planet, and you really don't have any context because there's no. So we talked. I don't know if it was you and I. But maybe we did. Your ancestors and the people that came before us, they had to survive. Like
Oh!
they had to survive. Like crossing countries, like ice countries in wagons. Like you could not even imagine the turmoil that like our ancestors went through.
Like, water would kill you if
Yeah,
it wasn't clean
exactly.
enough.
And they didn't have vaccines and medicines and
Nope,
anything, it was just
no filter.
what you could figure out. And so right now we live in such a cushy space. Even in the hardest of times, there's still a lot of cushion. And I always use the analogy of you will only know how much time you're wasting if faced with an acute moment. So if you knew that you had 24 hours to live, truly, like if you knew 8 a.m., you're done, you're never coming back, I bet you would know real quick where you're wasting time. You would know real
Real
quick what you've been distracted by. You would want, like you said, more time because
Mhm,
you realize, wait, I didn't do it. I didn't do the thing. And
mhm,
the thing is, that's accessible at any point, but it
mhm.
can't be when you need to do this first and that first. And you have to be like that influencer and that guru. And wait, your messaging's not right. So you can't sell because you're not like, you don't really know what you're doing. And so you never, ever, ever do the thing.
Yep.
But
I
if you
love
were faced with that, if you were faced with one acute moment where it was a flash and you're like,
Yep.
oh shit, you would know.
Well I
Yeah.
I've been saying, like, not enough people have met grandfather death enough, and I can
Sure.
tell, right? And I
Yes.
I can
Yes.
tell which one of y'all have not met them because grandfather death is kind of like he's very quiet, very strict. He does not cuddle at all.
No, no.
Also
Mhm.
very ineffective to pleading and begging him. It does not work.
No,
Um
no.
The I like what you said when it's look, everyone's teaching now how to deal with the symptoms of the distraction rather than what would we call it, like unlearning, coming to a core. Like, even what language are we using for this right now? Because everything got so polluted.
Yes. So I I call it missing the mark. I'm a precision
Mhm,
worker, like, I can
mhm,
see through anything and put you right back on path in 5.6 seconds if you're ready to receive it. I know you're the
mhm,
same.
mhm.
But it's like, you as a human being, I would say we were never meant to play roles, but we each have a part.
Ooh, I like. Yes, say more. Mhm.
And there is a uniqueness to that. So the world really applauds sameness. You see someone you're inspired by, and then all of a sudden you're following in their footsteps, and you get outside of yourself a little bit, and then you have to come back because you're like, wait, that's not how I do it. So when you're missing the mark, everything else becomes your God, if you will.
Ooh. Yep. Yeah.
When you have that relationship here and you're willing to step out of your comfort zone and listen to that, then these things become allies, if you will. If there's things like
Mhm.
you might have a coach for something, but they're not your guru. They're somebody that's facilitating your ability to do what's been put in you to do.
And they don't have the burden of being diluted by the filters that you look through, so they can be
Yeah,
like, "Hey, there's distortion over there," right?
right.
And you're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, shit. I
I didn't even
had
see
no idea."
that. Mhm.
Thanks.
Yeah, and then you can
Clarity.
move differently. Mhm, the clarity.
Exactly.
See what you did there? It's all like,
Clarity. Yeah.
most things are not bringing you back to your design, what actually works right for you, and what's going to be most effective. Most of this stuff is fluff. If it's taking you out of your life, if you're really not seeing results, if you're not able to stay focused, if you're upset all the time, if you're needing to go backwards or you're needing to flash forward, you're missing it. You're missing the whole point. And that is that you have a part to play that might not look like anybody else's. That's something I struggled with for a long time. It doesn't mean I'm special, or like, it means that what I do in this world may not look, and actually for me it really rarely has.
Right. Right.
Not to be rebellious or to stand out and be a misfit, but because that was the way I moved. I challenged the status quo naturally.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You are the outlier, which also means that's also the reason why you can vibe with anyone and everyone.
Right. Mhm.
Because it's not
Yeah.
like I I feel like a lot of people tend to get lost. You know, like all the goth kids who wanted to be edgy, and then they ended up all the same, right? And now
Yes.
they have their own
Yes.
clique, they have their own code. I'm like, well, if you're all the same as the outlier, you're not really the outlier anymore. You're just now your new group. Whereas a real
Yes.
outlier does not have that box because it never fits fully in one box, but also fits in all boxes a little bit.
Right, right. So there's this like convention. Well, and here's the thing, that's what I really perceive to be limitless. Because if I wanted to dye my hair brown tomorrow, I could do it and I
Right.
wouldn't think twice.
Yep.
If I wanted to wear sweatpants every day, I wouldn't feel less than. If I wanted to wear designer everything, I wouldn't feel like a bougie bitch that's above everyone. So there's something to be said for, do you actually know who you are? Or are you just trying to fit into the social box? And this is where I see the greatest confusion is, newsflash, everybody,
Mhm.
the needle keeps moving.
Mm.
So today it's nervous system. Tomorrow it might be don't do anything, sit in a box and figure your life out from there. You don't actually know. But if everybody else is that guiding force and you have no idea who you are and where you're walking, well, that's why you see nothing tangible in your life that you are really excited or grateful for, because you're just following a system.
Yep.
And I will say there are some people that are designed for that,
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
who
Absolutely.
thrive under somebody saying, do A, B, C, D, E, and you will get a
Absolutely.
result. And they're like, oh my God, I got the result. Life is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're designed to do different things, then that's not going to work for you.
But that's what you said, right? Like the people who do excel at following and then legit feel a joy from that, right? Getting those results. Like that amplifies that everyone has a part, their unique part, right? But we
Yes.
have come to this romanticization, right? Of trying to be the unique one.
Yes.
When you need
Yes.
to try to be the unique one, you're not unique anymore. You
No.
cannot perform uniqueness. And
No.
also, it's disrespectful. I do love this a lot about Japanese culture. My other podcast host from Diamonds and Demons editions, she's half Japanese.
Okay.
Lived many years there. She's now in America.
Okay.
But she's
Mhm.
like in Japan, the CEO of like super fancy company would go down and like shake the hands of the janitor, know his name, and the janitor would feel not because he's been acknowledged by the CEO, but because he takes so much pride in what
And
he
what he
does,
does. Mhm.
right? And on top of that, it's being acknowledged, right? That's
Yes.
the bonus. But
Yes.
he himself takes pride in what he's doing because he understands that his part in the whole ecosystem is extremely important.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's like, oof, life
Yeah.
force, baby. Ooh, so good. Like, I don't care if you make sandwiches, but you better do it with your whole fucking being, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't even have to
Well,
be the best quality, but you put that cheese on there for me, baby. Let's go.
spread the mayo. Give me
Oof.
some extra sauce.
Ooh.
Like, yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Make it into an art of life.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Well, and that is so I love cultures that have depth because they know what sustainability looks like. And they know that it's not a quick experience. It's a daily devotion, actually. It's a daily
Moment,
devotion.
moment, every, and like even within a day, it's
Yeah,
because I feel like language gets us stuck here. When we
it can.
say, not you necessarily, but
Yes.
when we say daily devotion, to me, instant what I think is okay, I wake up, I decide one time, and we're good. Oh no, no, no,
Yes.
no. Because then life happens. And I
Yes.
find myself on the crossroads where I want to go into a pattern, self-destruction, a little bit of dopamine, baby, maybe some
Yeah.
reward.
Yeah.
Or do I devote myself again
Yes.
and again
Yes.
and again
And again,
and again, baby?
and it's being alive. I
Yes.
so like one of the things I talk about is what it means to be truly wealthy. And wealthy is not necessarily dictated by the things that you have. It's the quality of life that you live in every given moment. And
Ooh.
when you know that regardless so anybody who has attained wealth and lost wealth and attained it, you know that in the game of life, there's ups and there's downs, there's gains and there's losses, but few people can sustain the negative impact now because of the coddling that we're seeing today. So how do you expect to live a full and rich life if you've always got it perfectly orchestrated and together? And that's what you're spending all your time on is trying to be perfected. You're missing the mess. You're missing the opportunity in those devotional moments when you want to break down and quit and not like keep going that you do, or you do something you're not proud of and you're like, okay, I don't want to stay here anymore. What am I going to do now? Like you're devoted to the quality of your life. And in that, so when you talked about joy being the pinnacle of things, I always come back to the fruits of the spirit because if we were really doing things better for ourselves, then there should be a level of ease built into the game.
Yep.
There should because the ease comes from the conviction of choice. Yeah. And when you do that, then the next steps follow. But few people are living in that space because it's in fix, heal, change, control, fear, fix all of
And
that.
most systems that are being sold are focusing on avoiding or minimizing the messiness, right? It's all the illusion of control in that sense.
Yes.
Avoid, avoid, avoid the messiness and just reap the rewards. No,
Yes.
no.
Well, and the mess can be so much fun
Dude, like, yo, so much.
because it is actually where I think you have a more well-rounded experience of love when you're like, "Oh shit, I'm not at my best right now. And you know what? I'm still lovable. I still have gifts. I still have these things." Like you really are starting from where you are at any given moment, but how you experience life is what takes you to those next places without you needing to do anything. Like the doing anything part is the shit that people are selling right now. That's the I call it people think they're doing the work, but here's the litmus test that nobody tells you about in all of those things. If you're doing the work, so I always take it back to relationships. There's so much contextual tips, tricks, language, behavior, all of these different things. You can learn everything about relationships. Okay, so you've done the work. Now you have a regulated nervous system. Now you feel good about yourself. Your life is on par. Money's coming in. Everything is good. I can be single. I'm waiting for the one. It's no problem. Okay, and then the one shows up. There's more work in that experience that you're delaying because you deny the desire. So like this is another thing that I would say is that it can be dangerous to follow people because you never know their underlying biases and where they come from. Because sometimes the people who are saying, "Oh, just be single forever," it's because they have never known a relationship with a man that's fruitful. And that's problematic because until somebody can say, you know what, I've had both. I've had really beautiful relationships with men and you know, I just decided single is right for me, you're getting only a thread of truth. But
What?
you can't avoid the exposure to the thing itself. And it is messy because most people don't really know what they're doing because you're not actually living life. You're learning about it, you're absorbing other people's lives, you're
From the
collecting inform
sideline.
from the sideline, and then you're hoping it's going to show up for you if you put two feet in and maybe 10 minutes of your time.
So real. So real. But I have to catch myself as I wanted to ask this question. Like, how do
Sure.
we show the people
Mm,
like what how real life, how good it is, right? And I'm like, oh no, we ain't digital Jesus. That's not our job. We are here to live it.
yeah.
Yeah. I get
Well, and
lost in that, man.
it's a blend, right? Because like the digital space has brought forward so many incredible things. Like we gotta give it props. I mean, I have earned money, I've made friends, I've traveled
Absolutely.
the world.
Mhm.
It has opened the world to me in such beautiful ways. And it has also caused some chaos in my life because of what I may see myself as failing or not being where I should be, and you know, having to recalibrate constantly. So what I always go is like we talked about joy being the pinnacle. If you're not experiencing joy in your life, it's because you're living other people's lives.
Absolutely the end.
So if you can acknowledge that maybe what you've been consenting to as real and true and necessary for you, if you just like turn that off for a second, and I hate using this because it's kind of like go and touch grass, please. Like just go outside, no digital anything. And this is not to avoid something that might be a dopamine thing for you, but it is to connect you with something other than 15 million strangers that you think know life better than you do. Nobody is living in your body, not a single human being. So while there can be beautiful points of contact, if you're not here, if you're not able to wake up and be like, I got water, I got food, I got a roof, I got money, I don't care what you have, it could be everything, it could be nothing. If you're not connected to that, then that's why you feel disconnected.
Yep.
If you've had 17 million things pinging you, go here, do this, start this, you want to do this, and you just ignore, ignore, ignore because Sally the influencer seems to have it all locked down. Well, that's your starting point.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's amazing how chaotic moments that you
Mm,
didn't choose can bring you right back to that present living.
yes.
And I remember because as I have the puppy here chewing on my hand, which he's allowed, right, little
Cute.
baby. So
Yeah.
so when they were born, their mom kept trying to kill them, right? So the first three
Oh, wow.
weeks we stayed
Hmm.
up 24/7 every night. Every night I got 2 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep. Husband got 2 hours or 3 hours. Then he had to go to work. Was still doing 75 hard, and I
Yeah. Yeah.
remember like fighting in the moment, like I have to stay awake because otherwise I'm gonna wake up to another dead puppy, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and after 4 days, I'm like walking in a state of crying nonstop, right?
Yeah. Of
And not
course. Of
fighting it.
course.
I'm just like there's an exhaustion, and I'm still keep up, like I'm
Oh,
still stay
yeah.
up, and also I'm gonna cry again. There's gonna be a
Oh,
moment when the dogs get really old and I'm going to wish I was going to be right back here in this moment where
Yeah.
I'm saving
Yeah.
their lives, right?
Yes. Hmm.
And I'm like, and boom, energy, let's fucking go. Holding
Right.
myself like this,
Okay.
looking at the dogs
Yeah.
in the moment, no distraction because internet would make me exhausted. Just be there. We're here, we're
Yeah.
tired, we're crying, but we're here.
Yeah. Well, and okay, so I talk about the bubble that everybody's in right now. Everything is either designed to have you chase something, keep you in control of something, which is the safety. Everybody's talking about safety, safety, safety right now. Guess what, guys? You are safe. Look around.
You
Right now, whether you feel
word.
anxious or tired, you are probably safe. You are probably sitting in a cozy house with some heat on, your slippers, like you're probably fine.
If you have the
Okay.
luxury of anxiety, overthinking,
Oh,
or
the luxury.
procrastination, if you have
Yes,
the luxury of procrastination, anxiety, or doubting or inner negotiating, you live a luxurious life.
you do. You do. So like I think where I kind of laugh because I have had my points in time with this as well. Like I'm not exempt from these things. That's the best part. Being human, not a single person can sit here and throw stones at anybody because everybody has things that
Yep.
they have done that are stupid as shit. So let us just skip to the end here a little bit so you can get ahead of the curve. Most of you spend all your time worshiping your feelings and your emotions.
Take me to church, I worship
Yeah.
like a dog. Just trying to be a light. I'll tell you my sins so you can sharpen your knife. Yes.
Yeah.
Worship your
So
feelings. Oh,
you're
that
worshiping. Oh, the babies are like, yeah, yeah, they're in it too. Um, you spend most of your life worshiping your feelings just to avoid the bad ones, and you quit because you can't control the outcome. So then you get right
no
back into your
control.
emotions again. No control. All you have is what you're doing now. But can you be sharp enough to know that where I'm sitting right now is not where I want to be, or is exactly where I want to be? And like, can you make a choice from this point forward going, you know what?
I'm just gonna
I'm not
close the
going to,
door. Keep talking.
please do. Yeah. I'm not going to shame myself for being where I have been or where I am. I'm going to choose to move into a place that is different, not even better, different.
Byron Katie, and I don't fully vibe with her, but she
Okay.
calls it when you're anywhere else except for here,
Mm.
you're confused.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
really like that angle,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
I don't want to feel this means you're confused because you're not here. You
Right.
want to be
Because you are
somewhere
feeling
else.
it. Yeah.
Right.
And
I've
like,
been
here's
really
the
liking
thing. Here's what I love about kids. And like, this is why I keep talking about the cross section between the innocence of a child and who you actually are, and the maturation and discernment of like maturity in your spirit, you know? Children do not hold back. You know what happened? Along the way, adults didn't like emotions because they're really uncomfortable when somebody is screaming at you. And I get really passionate about this because sometimes when people do shitty things, the appropriate response is anger.
Thank you. Violence is
It's,
an answer. We
yeah, it's,
cannot be like, no, boo boo. That's no, no, no. You fucking slap them to shit. You slap them out of it, literally.
oh, we're so Eastern European, but like that. is- yes. So like, I think that this is where the worshiping of emotions came from the fact that you stopped having them and
Hmm.
allowing them and so my man actually is somebody that really taught me this because I when I was younger, so the reason why your emotion is important but not meant to be worshipped, when I was younger, that was all I had. That was the only way I could express the environment that I was in and how inadequate it was for what basic human dignity requires. So I raged as a child, like screaming. My mother had to sit on me because I was so mad. But you know what that did? She
Same.
couldn't she couldn't handle me. So you know what happened? My aunt and uncle took me in and they were more stable than she was. So it was my emotions and unwillingness to stay there that actually made her move me into a different place. So we've gotten so temperate and so neutral, and nobody has a fucking spine anymore. And nobody's willing to say, yeah, I can see that everybody's going that way, but it doesn't seem to be effective. So can we just question that? But if you question it, oh God, then it's, well, where's your psychology degree and where's your, I'm like, I don't know, looking at the patterns and seeing what's working and what's not.
Well,
I don't
even
even
the
need to
fact
be a
that we're
scientist.
outsourcing who the
Yeah.
authority to observe, right? No, these people who have this paper done by an external educational system that is not real life, but that now has a curriculum that's also not based on real life. It's very contained. You can do
Yes.
this, and now you are the expert. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
So, but that's what I'm saying is like, there's no sense of self when you deny any part of yourself. The denial is what gets you into following people in the first place. And like I said, okay, here's the thing too. Anybody that feels any level of confidence in their experience will have authority, whether it's correct or not. So somebody could be saying, well, this is what worked for me. And I guarantee that if you do my 5-step program, you'll do it too. No, Linda, no, everybody is not the same. It is not one size fits all. Now, can we can come together as a community and bring those gifts and those talents, and some might have overlap? Absolutely. But when did we start questioning that each person comes with very specific and unique gifts? That if realized, like if we had had proper parental systems and proper systems to develop you properly, I bet you the world will look very different.
So even by the way, do you fuck with human design?
I have, but I have really, so in the times when I've dabbled in those communities, I realized that I had such a strong internal compass that I didn't actually need them because I knew who the fuck I was already. So I didn't need the tool to know how to move because I was already doing it.
Right,
So
right, right.
I think there are systems. So I always look at God as being the hierarchical system, and everything underneath it should always lead you back to God. If it's a tool you rely on, if it's something you are like, if I don't check the stars, I can't live, you are in trouble because you're lost already. As the highest authoritative figure, and then everything's underneath it, technically, if you can really just align to the highest authoritative figure, all the other thing is just, it's just Play-Doh, basically. Like, so with human design, I think it's fascinating because it does actually point out to a lot of precursors. But I found that as I started to look at those things, these are things I already knew about myself.
Word. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way,
So
now that you say God, so
yes.
I know you're not talking about the Christian God
No, no,
necessarily,
no, no,
right?
no. No.
So I just have so personal question. How do
Sure.
you look at good and or evil?
They're one and the same. So we live on planet Earth, which means that contrast exists. It exists. And okay, much to what you were speaking about in your childhood, I was not born into a great environment, and neither were you. Interesting how we turned out. So can we really discount one without the other on a dualistic plane? Can one be moved into another through observation and understanding and wisdom? So what there's somebody I follow, his name's Andreas. He's really big into like supernatural things and Christ authority. And he had a perfect analogy for this, which I absolutely loved. It's like money is the root of all evil, but have the resources because it actually is part of what you're designed to do. You want to be on the mark, which is in the middle. So that's how I look at good and evil, is that to not acknowledge both would be to say to yourself that you are only good. And to that, I say you are a fucking liar. There is not a single person on this planet who is exempt from doing things that have not had detrimental impact to other human beings. And the more you lean into that, and I know you feel this way, when I started to experience this in relationship, if I did something that I knew was not correct or out of order, and this is not spiritual purity, this was like, oh my God,
This is
my actions,
integrity.
yes, my actions have impact. And I remember crying because I did something that was not even that big, but it hurt so much because I was like, wow, I understand now that everybody has indiscretions. The level is irrelevant because you could do something so small, but to another person, that could mean the difference between them thriving or sitting back for 2 years because they are so impacted. And this is not to elicit fear, but there is a high level of truth and integrity that exists in the devotional space that we're talking about that is rooted in the highest authority of love, which is all things exist under that hierarchy. Mhm.
Yes. I
Yeah.
every yes to everything, and
Yeah.
and I'm just exploring words now.
Yes, please. Yeah.
So where I often differ from a lot of big online spaces where I'm like, violence is an answer, right? Anger is an answer. It's a very, for one, very natural one, and trying to portray it as like this dirty thing, like,
Right.
like let's go very extreme. If anyone
Sure.
touches a child, my child, whatever, you're gonna get the wrath, not the me
Yes.
yelling. You're probably
Yes.
gonna get stabbed, right?
Yes.
That will be my highest act of love.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not me malicious intent. That's protecting what is loved, right?
Yes. Hmm.
But there's this definitely, like you said, there's this purity. How do we get there?
Fear. It's fear.
From
Um,
not wanting to be a human.
yes. Well, I think, the whole act of, so when I talk about sin, sin is just missing the mark. It's just missing the mark as a human
I
being.
like that.
And yeah, it's not anything else. And everybody does it. So
Yeah.
like we are not exempt from it. Every day we live in it.
Yeah.
I think we diluted it because everybody wants to be appropriate. But in that, there's a
Mm.
lie because it's not always in line with what's appropriate.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we have levels to life, and the primal aspect of things is like the lowest level. But what else is at the lowest level? Security, safety, order, God at the root of everything. So if we ignore that part and we go right to our upper chakra system, we're no longer complete.
Nice. Yeah.
So I think there's a delusion in that because just think about it. Say you have friends or people in your life that are not it for you, but you just passively let them do whatever the fuck they want. Instead of looking them in the eyes and being like, I don't like how you're operating right now.
No.
Yeah, there is something about people that have clear sovereignty in their yes and their no, where the minute they speak to you, you're like, yes, ma'am.
No,
And
instantly.
it's
There's a
true
no
because
because blah blah blah. No, no.
no, yes. So it resets everything, but nobody holds that authority truly anymore because it would mean you would have to stand out.
Yeah,
A few
ostracize.
people,
Mhm.
like I don't know where I read it. Everybody thinks that they would be so altruistic in everything they do, but when faced with the actual thing, you would be all cowards, most of you.
COVID, by the way, showed this.
Oh, 100%.
Oh my
Yes.
god,
Yes.
COVID showed this.
Yes. Yes. So I like people that have backbone. And somewhere along the way, I allowed mine to soften because I realized it's just not accepted to be who you
Mm,
are. Isn't that crazy?
mhm,
Everybody wants to be who they are, but for largely, everybody wants you to follow. It's you have points that you're allowed to meet.
mhm.
So if you rise to here and you're like, okay, I don't really like where this is, but you go like this, oh, then it's like, please, no, you're not going up there.
Yeah.
You're wrong. Bully, shaming. It's crazy how humans are.
Well, and
It's crazy.
when you have a backbone, this odd thing happens is that you see the backbone in others, and they might be completely different. Might be
Right.
completely
Yes.
different lifestyles, value, ideas, might be even a little. But I always say this example, like when I just got moved to America, and I wasn't at a golf club of all places because there's like
Sure.
a weird
Why not?
like
Yeah.
this super like old school Republican was like, I don't care what you how you look. I don't care at all what you look for and how you got here, but I do respect your journey. And I know if I would pull up right now, if something would really bad happen, I would pull up. He would fucking help me because
Yes.
backbone and
Yes.
backbone, baby, backbone and
Oh, yeah.
backbone.
Mhm. Well, and that's oddly enough, that's why I left Los Angeles. I thought if the world fell apart, that's the last place I wanna be.
Rough place to be, LA. Yeah.
I love California. It's such a beautiful state, but I was like, if the world fell apart, If you are in a city or any place where backbone is rare,
Ooh,
whew,
you're gonna be eaten alive
eaten
by
alive. Yes,
existing,
this,
just by existing.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think that I guess the common thread here that we've been talking about here is that standing out is no longer about being rebellious and being an outlier.
Mm.
It is really just remembering who you actually are and the part that you play. And when you really connect to that, and like the way that I kind of guide people there, if you're like interested in knowing what that looks like,
Mhm, mhm.
is if you think about the qualities that you held as a child that were very easy, like it just, you really didn't think about it, those are likely the same core of who you are. You're just now enveloped in a world where you're now making the choices for your life. That's the only difference. And that's the maturation, that's the responsibility of the part that you play. So when you said, who cares what part you play? Like I talk about people wanting children versus being adequate parents or
Ooh,
mothers or fathers. That's a heavy conversation. But if you think about it, there's only a few people I've met in my lifetime that were like pure mothers, where you were like,
agreed.
you should have an orphanage. Like you
No,
would literally be the,
100%.
but most people are just like, I want kids. Okay, that's intentional.
Right.
Like,
So
really?
real. So
Yeah.
real.
Same thing with the millionaire thing. I want to be a millionaire. Well, do you know what that entails really? Are you willing to go the miles? Are you willing to keep going when it gets rough? Are you willing to keep going when maybe the debt's high and you're not doing so well? Or maybe people hate you because you don't look like your integrity, but you just can't? Like, do you have it in you? But
Y
I've noticed that you do you notice too that the things you've known for certain, for certain, for certain, have they not always happened?
Always. And sometimes even I try to put it away. No, I'm like, "I
But
don't
you
want this to happen,
can't.
no." Maybe if I kind of, like, manipulate or try to go around it, it won't happen. Damn it!
Yes. Yes.
This
Shh.
is very inconvenient.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. But I only asked you that question because I know that you've lived a life where you've had to be reliant on your own compass to some extent
Mhm,
to get
mhm,
out of
mhm,
certain scenarios and
mhm,
environments and to keep going.
mhm.
Like, I love your backstory because there were so many points in your life where you could have just said, well, that's it for me. I'm good. And not to say that life needs to be detrimental. I would even say when you're thriving, let's see how much purpose you fucking have.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Uh,
real. And I don't even know who I had this conversation with this week. Is where like where I said it was there. It used to be easier to thrive when in survival mode because you didn't have the luxury once again of
Right.
overthinking, wondering. You just go. Once
Yes.
you get in a certain thriving position, now you have the opportunity, right? So, and people always, I always make the stupid joke. People go like, "Oh, if I had millions, I would never buy a Lamborghini." Of course, you say that right now because you're a broke ass motherfucker. It's not in your
Hmm.
wheel of options. So, as a
Hmm.
coping mechanism, of course, you have to say, "I would never," because otherwise, you'd have to deal with the disappointment that you cannot, right?
Yes.
But now that you start thriving, who are you? Who do you want to be actually? Who are you under that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, and these are the people that I'm talking to now because I think we're moving out of survival. Like
Oh,
the systems that
absolutely.
have all the
Mhm.
systems that have been set up for survival, y'all
Yeah.
are going down, so you better pivot. Like honestly, like
Yep.
you we want to start talking to people from their thrival point. When
Mhm.
clients come to me,
Absolutely.
they are in circumstance, but I don't care about their circumstance
Mhm.
because I know their circumstance is
It's a
temporary from the
story.
moment. It's a
Mhm.
story. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they've arrived.
Just a station.
Yes. Yeah, they have to deal with what's happening.
Mhm.
Fair. That's uncomfortable. But who they really are
Yeah.
is beyond that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we need to start talking to people as though they're beyond what's in front of them because then you don't have to sit in your pain for excess amounts of time or even just you don't have to deny your pain but you know it doesn't have any power over you.
Yep. Yep.
So
So
much more
real.
fun. So
So
much more
fucking real.
fun.
Oh
Mm,
my god. Okay, so
yes.
we always say we have to do this regularly, but we have
I
to do this
know. We
right.
have to do this regularly. I know. Every time we have these touch points, it's like, what have you been up to? I'm like, I don't know. What have you been up to? And then we have this. It's amazing.
It's so good. Tell
Completely
us
unscripted.
everywhere where we can find you, what you're up to right now, and what you're doing. Obviously, everything will be linked. And again, we'll do this. We just have to do this regularly.
Yes, absolutely. So you can find me at Jennifer Hallett on Facebook. Jayla Loves on Instagram. I'm probably tagged here. I work with women primarily, just to really connect you to what we've been talking about today. What I'm really focused on this year is that I see a huge intersection of women who have come out of a lot of shedding. So I don't believe in astrology oriented things, but it is very clear that people are realizing, wait, I've been holding on to things, friendships that aren't working, lives that aren't panning out, and you kind of didn't have a choice. It almost feels like the margin of error is really slim now. Like you
Yeah.
can't really veer off the path too far before you're being humbled and brought right back. But there's this really beautiful pocket that we're in right now where you're starting to remember that you're not the things that everybody is doing. And in fact, those things are not always for you. And that the more of you that you bring to the table, the more of those things actually are the byproduct of that. And so this year is really dedicated towards people having the um, I work from spiritual aspects right to practicalities. The part that's missing right now is practical aspect. It's the exposure to your life and how that shifts in the moment. And that's kind of the work that I do with people. So yes, that's how you can find me, and that's what I'm currently up to. So
Love to see it. Thank you so much
yeah.
for being here, babe.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Everyone,
it.
go follow, go watch. Like she has the best stories. Also, like I said, she's really fucking pretty. So like
Oh,
that's like
you're
I was like always
hilarious.
like, oh my god, made my timeline happy, happy,
Come
happy.
on, come on. Thank you. Thank you. It feels like a hug every time you say it. So I love
So
it.
real. Okay, everyone,
Yes.
rich and hydrated. See y'all soon.
Bye, guys.